Titles are temporary, but character is generational. Caught myself thinking about titles and promotions and goals today. All good things, all important things. But I also started deliberately thinking about if the titles, promotions, and goals are not partnered very strongly with character and enjoyment of the process, then that's how people tend to get very stuck very easily for long periods of time. I was talking this morning about guys who tend to wander, especially later in life. You know, 40s, 50s used to be midlife, but now people are working well into their 60s and 70s and living easily into their 90s and 100s. So, yeah, I'm getting there. I consider myself midlife, and I'm okay with that. And I'm not unsettled. I just know that I have more to give, and I'm trying to figure out where it should be best applied. I think that goals are obviously important. Promotions and raises come with success, if that's what you want to achieve. And they're not bad things. Money's not bad. Promotions are good for you, for growth, if that's what you desire. The important part of the conversation is don't lose sight of two things. Number one, enjoyment of the process. Because even when you accomplish something and you start looking for the next thing, are you just in a trap, in a black hole of success without enjoyment, success without appreciation and gratitude? And I know there was going to be a second thing, and then I think it was the gratitude part. Like, enjoy the process, but also make sure that you're pausing to be grateful for what you have, what you achieve along the way. The path is important. Every milestone is important. And there's rarely one single accomplishment. Unless you're in sports, you're like, oh, I want to win a championship. But even that, there's been athletes who have talked about, oh, they win the championship. And then they say, well, it was actually kind of a letdown. It was the process that was most enjoyable. The trophy was cool, but man, it was that process of working and striving for this thing that was really, looking back, that was the thing that was super enjoyable. So I think it gives us an opportunity to pause, reflect. When you talk about goals, make sure that they're partnered. It shouldn't just be a thing that you want to accomplish. There should be some meaning behind it. And then, so therefore, the outcome has meaning behind it. Everything that you do to accomplish that thing then should have meaning and enjoyment. Even if it's some of the stuff that you don't want to do, it's knowing that you are doing those things. I did a LinkedIn article where there's a university did some research on, they called it micro sucks. And you know, all the things that you don't want to do but that are necessary for your success, those are the things that actually challenge your brain. If you really enjoy something, is it really a challenge for you? I can't say that I like to work out, but I can't say I enjoy getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go work out. I do it out of necessity because it eventually makes my life easier when I don't have to deal with traffic. But it's that part of the process that makes the outcome even sweeter. When I'm holding myself accountable and going to the gym 4 days a week, because that's what I said I was going to do, even when I don't. The discipline and the decisions are more impactful than the motivation and the inspiration. So the goals that you want to achieve, how do those fit into your lifestyle, your everyday lifestyle? When your lifestyle is difficult, is stressful, there's some pressure, there's some decisions to make. There are no sacrifices, there's only decisions. You don't sacrifice things. You decide you want them or you decide you don't. And if you go back and forth on those things, they are the things that challenge your outcomes, challenge your goals. Do you really have a definition of where you're going, what you want to achieve? Or are those things not really what you want because you're not following through on the daily decisions necessary to get there? I think I still have a lot to give. I don't believe I'm in the position, work-wise, the role, the title, the power, for lack of better terms, to make effective decisions. I'm still in a role where I feel like I could do my boss's job. I know I could. He's good at it, but I would also be good at it. But that means that I'm not working at that level that I know that I'm capable of. That my education, my expertise, my desire, my motivation to have that responsibility. But how does that play into my daily life? Okay, so I don't have the title I want. I don't have the responsibility that I want. What do I have? I have the ability to leave work at 3 o'clock consistently, unless there's a scheduled meeting. Heading home, I finish home, what little work I have at home. I'm flexible on my start time. I go to the gym. I used to rush to get to work by 8. I'd feel bad if I was at work by 8:30. Now, kind of in that mode and that agreement with my boss and my coworkers that we're in an outcome-based work center. So do I really need to be work at 8 o'clock if I don't have anything to do until 10? Because I got all my shit done. If they're happy with my work, what do they care? Not all bosses and not all organizations are like that. But this one is. If I got that promotion I was looking for, or maybe found another job at a different organization, would I have that flexibility? Would I have to be in an office on time when they told me I needed to be there and I couldn't leave until they told me otherwise? Would I enjoy that? Would it be conducive to my lifestyle that I've become accustomed to? Maybe, maybe not. So as much as I want the promotion and the pay raise and the title and the influence and the role, the power and the responsibility and all the things that come with it, do I want all that other things that may come with it, that may change up my lifestyle? So just something to think about. You know, I'm more concerned with, you know, what kind of person am I? What kind of person am I becoming? I want to make sure that I'm a good spouse and a good dad. All that stuff is definitely more important to me, especially this later in my life and later in my career. I don't necessarily need to push. I want to. And there's a big difference. And that also, I think, makes a pretty big difference on my perspective and how I approach those promotions and those opportunities, because it's something I want to do. I don't feel like I'm obligated to do it because I have to have a certain pay to take care of my family. My family's already taken care of. My wife and I have put ourselves in a position where we are good. Could be better, but at what cost? And so heading home to hang out with my fam after about a half hour being home, I'll go into the office for about another 30 minutes, check up on some things. I know I've got at least 2 things I have to do, but I'll probably be done in 30 minutes. And then I'll chill out with the fam. We'll go swim in a pool, hang out, because that's what we want to do. And then making sure that you are pursuing what you want to pursue because it's the life that you're trying to build. So what does it look like for you? What's the reflection on your pursuit of whatever it is you're pursuing? And maybe it could be the opposite. Maybe you're not pursuing as hard as you could, and maybe there's some fulfillment that you're missing out on because you're not pushing very hard. I do know some people like that. They're good jobs. They're doing all right. They could push harder. Maybe not. But there's some education. I'm thinking about one person in particular that I know, that I'm very close to. And they have a really good, solid job. They're very well respected in their trade. Very reliable. There's just a spark missing. There's a drive that's missing. There's a next level that's missing. And for people who don't necessarily want to strive to that next level, a lot of people would say, hey, that's okay. You don't need to worry about it. But I do worry because what is 10 years going to look like for that person? My wife and I are secure because we're both retired from the military and we have pensions. We have disabilities. We worked our ass off. We got pretty beat up in the military serving, doing all the things that we do in the military. And so we earned it. And I have no problem saying that. Because not everybody has what we have. We just met with a financial advisor a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about all these things that we should be doing. I'm like, dude, you don't have a clue. You've never worked in the military, have you? He admitted, no, I'm not that familiar. I'm like, you should probably look that up before you start advising, because we don't need what you're offering. This other person that I'm referring to, I mean, how long can you do the hard job? It's not like they're sitting at a desk. They're out on the field. They're doing hard work. You start getting 35, 40 years old, and you don't want to be the person on the ground, bending, stooping. And even if you do, where's the backup? At what point are you pulled from that job by things outside of your control? Even if you want to continue to do that job, whether it's the job says otherwise and they move you to a different place, your body can't handle it anymore, your mind can't handle it anymore, something happens outside of your control, what are you going to fall back on? That's that lifestyle. Are you looking forward to things, or are you just living in the moment? I'm all for living in the moment. Mindfulness is extremely important. There has to be balance. What's the next level? What's the goal? What are you moving towards? What are you planning on? I don't want you to be a burden on people when you're older. That's what drives, one of the things that drives me. It's not just, look good, feel good. It's, I want to make sure that I'm not a burden to other people. I want to keep my mind right. I want to keep my body in shape. I want to be able to keep up with my kids, one day maybe grandkids, young nieces, nephews, cousins, whatever. I don't want to be a burden to other people. I don't want to be that old guy that people look at and they're like, this dude. Or whatever people say when they look at old people. Trying to figure out how to balance that. I'm doing all right, but I know there's a little bit of unsettled. I don't know what the right word is. I'm not in desperate need of anything. I'm searching a little bit. That sense of adventure, that sense of accomplishment, that next level mentality, healthy mentality. I'm curious what that looks and feels like for you. Your present moment versus your next level, your goals, your drive? What does it look like for you? I'm curious.